will now call the Plan Commission meeting of September 9th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Bouch here.
Kavich here.
Guzikowski here.
Seifert here.
Okay, item 3, approval of minutes of August the 26th, 2025. Give you guys a minute or so. Ladies. Feel we're in a place where there's no errors, omissions, or discussions. Motion.
Seifert moves to approve the minutes of August 26, 2025.
Lork seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Christine.
And I.
Bouch aye.
Lork aye.
Kavich, aye.
Guzikowski abstain.
Seifert, aye.
Okay. Item 4, it is a review of site and architectural plans for the construction of an accessory building at Performance Food Service, an existing building located at 9950 South Reinhardt Drive. Todd.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so this is, as you mentioned, this is Performance Food Service, which is located in the South Branch Industrial Park. It is zoned M1, and they are proposing to build or construct an accessory building for storing of two-hand trucks or two-wheel dollies for loading and unloading of the trucks as they come in. So I have a aerial showing the site and also a photo as the building looks from Reinhardt Drive currently. So they're proposing to add the structure, which is about 1,000 square feet, so 40 by 26 feet dimensions. It will be a total of about 12.5 feet tall, and they'll be placing it 10 feet away from the existing building to the north along the north elevation of it. They are a food service, a food production company, so they're not required by our code to have any foundational landscaping for this structure, and nor are they proposing any additional lighting. It's already well lit in that area. Architecturally, it will be clad with cement board siding and trim, beige in color, which will somewhat mimic the brick that's there on the building, having a black metal roof. So for exterior materials, for industrial use, meeting code requirements. And you can see below the elevation from what would be from both east and west of the building. And then it has 3 sides to this, so the north-facing elevation will just be completely open, facing north, away, not facing the street, but facing north, and so they can access the hand trucks as needed. So I have a suggested motion on the screen. Otherwise, the applicant's here if you do have any questions.
Great, thank you, Todd. Does the applicant want to say anything, or you just want to wait on questions? Okay, Okay, applicant has said he'll wait on questions. Let's start. How about you, Fred?
No questions at this time.
Okay, Chris?
No questions.
Greg?
Nothing for me.
Steve?
Nothing for me either.
Christine?
Just one question. Is it open on both sides or is it closed?
It's just open on one side to the north. And so the opposite side of that is only 10 feet away from the building, and but 3 side enclosed.
So is it going to have like a door or something to?
They have no door on that north side. It's just an open 3-sided.
So there's no concern for security, someone to come in and?
Sir, you'll have to be on the microphone. We'll need your name and address, and then.
Sure. My name is Don Olson. I'm Vice President of Design for ESI Design Services. My address is 7945 South Redev Drive, Oak Creek. So I'm actually a resident here. The structure itself is just to enclose the hand trucks. Currently, they're sitting outside now, unenclosed, but the area itself where the trucks go in, that's fully fenced and has security on it. So there's really no concern that somebody's going to go in there and steal.
It's not for stealing. What I'm thinking about, like maybe someone go in and just take the night underneath the shed or taking protective out of it, or.
Well, the building is operated essentially 24/7, 6 days a week. When it's not in operation, then the fences are closed, but there is security there 24/7.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Super. Christine did ask a question I was going to do about having a door to secure things. So no electrical, no lights needed
Nope, no lighting.
in the interior? Oh, okay.
Just,
I have no further questions. Is there any more discussion? If none, motion on 4.
Seibert moves that the Plan Commission approves the site and architectural plans for the construction of accessory building at Performance Food Service, an existing business located at 9950 South Reinhardt Drive with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant codes requirements remain in effect. 2, that this approved by the Planning Commission shall expire within 12 months after the date of approval if the building permit has not been issued.
Guzekowski will second.
Roll call, beginning with Steve.
Bouch, aye.
Clark, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seibert, aye.
And I.
Okay, moving right along, item 5, review of an amended site and architectural plans for proposed multi-tenant speculative industrial building to be located at 10,000 South Ridgeview Drive, submitted by John Schleter, Frontline Commercial Real Estate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so Plan Commission be quite familiar with this property located at the south end of Ridgeview Drive, currently vacant. So they first came before Plan Commission back in January 2024 with a very similar building, and that approval was given, but it was conditioned on a approval from the DNR to fill quite a bit of wetland on site. They did not get the approvals that they needed to fill in the amount of wetlands that they were intending to do. So they made kind of significant changes to the footprint and site, and came back in February 2025 with a new site plan, architectural plan. And so that was approved. And then a few months later, the prospective tenant had some changes that they want them to make to allow for their business there. And so they came back. And so again, Plan Commission approved that. And then now they have, I believe, another prospective client or tenant who would like, again, modifications to the building. So they're here today seeking to amend that site and architectural plans that was originally approved in February and then amended in July for, again, that multi-tenant industrial building. So kind of going through the steps here. In February, as I mentioned, they had approved site plan for the roughly 400,000 square foot multi-tenant industrial building, as you recall. That was to include 28 recessed loading docks and 2 at-grade overhead drive doors, all located along the south of the building. And that plan is shown on the screen. And then in July, they came back with some modifications, as you recall, where they, one, they relocated a dumpster that had previously been down on the southeast but closer to the wetlands. They moved it out to the corner. They added some emergency doors around the perimeter of the building, relocated and added a drive-in door, and had a pretty significant increase at that time of dock doors, where they went from 28 to 38. So that was approved. Currently, they're looking to make the modifications in that they were wanting to move that garbage enclosure back over towards the wetland, a little further out than it was originally, before it was up against the building. They're going to want to add one more dock door to the very east of that south elevation. So there would be 39 dock doors. They're also looking to widen this access drive that's coming off of Ridgeview Drive here for truck access. And because of that too, as you may recall or saw on that last one, there was a row of parking spaces here. They're looking to remove, or I should say, move those parking spaces, 28 of them, from this northeast part of the site and locate them here along the west, along this driveway. So no change in the number of parking spaces, just moving them. Architecturally, really not changing much from those first two. You can see what was approved for the south elevation, where the changes really occurred from February to July. The current has really not much changes, adding a couple bumpers here to their dock doors for the usage of those dock doors. So, but really nothing significant. Landscaping wise, if in February they had their plan that was approved, and that they were meeting all the requirements as far as lot perimeter, parking in lot interior, building foundation, and transition area landscaping. You may also recall that they and will need to remove 59 trees from the site for this development. They were proposing to replace those trees with 188 trees, which actually only 181 were required. That remains true, and that they'll be replacing necessary trees. And site-wide at that time, they were proposing to have 285 trees added for a total of 378 on site as a whole, which is much more than you would normally require for such a development. A lot of that focused on the south part of the site to really buffer that between them and some residential use lots right here, properties here with residents. So in addition, as you recall, there's a berm going east and west here that elevates all the trees as well. So it creates a real nice transition to the residential. So with this new modification, they're actually looking to add more plantings to the site. They're going to be adding 14 more trees and 17 more shrubs and almost 200 more perennials and grasses. Most of that is going to be focused where, as I mentioned before, they removed these parking spaces here and created a interior parking lot median. So that is being landscaped as code requires, and also adding transitional and kind of perimeter landscaping along the west lot line where they're adding the additional or moving the parking spaces to. They're making modifications for their lights as well, or requesting modifications. Plan back in February, they were going to have 9 pole-mounted fixtures, all 25 feet in height, and throughout the parking lot here to the north, and then also at the back of the lot, where tractor trailers would be stored and parked. And around the perimeter of the building, they were looking at having 21 wall-mounted fixtures. And so they're proposing to shift some of those poles that previously were in the islands here for the parking lot, and shift them out to that median that was created, and then add another light here on that side to make sure that parking lot is well illuminated. And then as you know, they're adding parking over here, so they've added a couple of poles and a couple of wall-mounted, or I should say, added one more wall-mounted light fixture and shifted another so that this area is well lit. All this lighting that they're proposing still meets the code requirements of 3,000 Kelvin in temperature, full cutoff, directed downward, and certainly less than 0.5 foot candles at the property line. Applicants here, if you have questions, otherwise I have the suggested motion on the screen for you.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Before we start with the commission, applicant, want to say a few words?
Very briefly, Mayor, members of the Plan Commission, I'm Brian Randall, attorney with Amundsen Davis, 111 East Kilbourne Avenue in Milwaukee, representing the applicant. I assure you, we are not looking for reasons to make changes and come back before you, however minor they may be. But as Todd indicated, we're making good progress with securing tenants, and sometimes tenants have very specific needs and requirements. And so with this plan that's before you, I know enough and I'm smart enough not to promise that these are the last changes we will have, but we're trying to minimize them, and we've been working with staff. Very proud, though, that we're adding plants and landscaping, and even more proud that, of course, all of the buffering and screening that we've always talked about where the residential neighbors buffer us, it's not changing whatsoever. The building's not changing whatsoever. So we'd ask that you add this. I think Todd did say, I know the staff report, Todd may have said there's really no change to the number of parking. We are actually adding, as we've counted them all up, 2 parking spaces with some of the relocations that we have. So I think the staff report is correct. I've counted them, and I know he has as well. We have 174 total vehicle parking spaces on the site right now. And so there has been a very slight change to the number of parking, mostly because we moved them over to the west. And we just want to make sure our plans, when they are approved, have all of those lights, all of the plants, and all of the parking accounted for. Thank you very much. Appreciate your patience. And again, we really look forward to building this building and rather than designing it and changing it.
Brian. Commission, as this ain't a public hearing, I know there's a couple neighbors here. You're probably hear what the changes are. Any specific questions? If there are, I will allow you up because there's just a couple of you. Or do you just want to wait and hear? Come on up, ma'am. I know you've been through this before. Name and address, please.
Yes, I have. Okay, Kaylee Kujak. I live at 10108 South Judith Place, Oak Creek, Wisconsin, 53154. I am the very last house. And this is not the original plan, and I do understand they have to come and bring this to you guys to get approval, but the parking moving from the north to the west is increasing light, not only from the poles, but is going to be increasing cars turning and directing their lights right towards my home. I understand that the trucks are going to already be doing that, but now we have 30 or 28 parking that is going to be along the side with cars pointing right to my home. So I don't understand why the parking has to move from the north to the west, or if there's a better solution that can help support me and the building.
Well, a lot's gone into that landscaping one way or the other, whether there was parking there or not, and this is my personal opinion. It depends on what shift they're working as well. That may not be a third shift opportunity or a second shift opportunity. Don't know that for sure, but the light cutoffs are going to do it. The car headlights, regardless of if it's truck traffic coming to the back or cars coming in, hopefully what was designed for the foliage on the far south side facing your house should take care of that one way or the next. As far as the parking goes, they have to meet some minimum parking standards. So they're really just transferring them somewhere on the lot, and that's probably about the only place they can probably get them at this point.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I mean, we can call the applicant back up and really get the real reason.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. But before we do so, I am up here once again stating something I don't want to. I was reassured by John that while I walk past this area, it would be grass. I need to get to an area that is, sorry, my significant other took his life just past it, and I want to be able to walk with my children. They have asked, and now I'm going to be walking through a parking lot, and it's already not an easy thing. And I don't want to have to repeat this again just because it's very hard for me, and I would rather it not be recorded, even though it probably is. But I was already reassured that this would be a grassed area, and now there's going to be 30 stalls as I'm walking with children to go do a very vulnerable thing. So I just want to understand why, even though this is known, and I'm told it's not, now I feel unheard and it's not very compassionate, and now I stand again wondering why it's changing. Like, we're trying to all work together, but now we're moving it again. So I would like to hear why.
Okay, I understand it. Like I said, they'll come up, they'll give you the reasons why, but I do believe to the west it's all green there, but I'll let the applicant explain if they will.
Yeah, I'd like to see too, because every time it goes really quickly. And this is my first time being able to actually see.
To the west, I think that's all slated to stay green. I don't think it'll ever develop west there, as Todd's cursor.
Yeah, but okay, so when I look at the maps online and I'm standing in my home, I can see this building. And it's like a perfect, like, realtor picture. So, like, you see these rooms and they're really long and big, and then you go see it in person and you're like, it's a lot smaller. But it's the opposite effect. The map looks beautiful, and then I'm standing there and I'm like, oh, that's really close. I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I'm trying to vision this parking lot, and I'm like, where's it going to go? Where are the trucks going to drive through? Where am I going to be able to take this walk and get to it safely? It's hard to see when you guys go so fast, but I'm concerned.
Well, again, they'll come up and explain, but it's private property as well. So, in both parcels, actually. So, if the applicant would come up.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. John Schleter, 7265 South First Street in Oak Creek. We wanted a slightly wider driveway at the entrance. The tenant for that space currently is in where their trucks come in and out. It's a little bit constricted, and they asked for this to be wider. I don't believe that the parking stalls to the west, which, by the way, is along Reinhardt Food Service, which is dozens, if not hundreds, of trucks and trailers directly across the fence. I don't think that parking is going to be actually utilized. Furthermore, as you mentioned, that is the same driveway that will be utilized for trucks to be at the docks on the west side. I did request that the grading company get the berm installed as early as possible, and that's been completed for a few weeks. And my guess would be from the ground where you're standing in that corner in the bottom left of the drawing is 10 to 12 feet tall, even before we put trees on it. So I am very confident that that is going to shield not only car lights, but truck lights, which was an early request, and we're fulfilling that request. Filling that request with the, could you switch back to show all the trees that are on that berm? Please. It's very, very significant. So I don't know if I answered your question, Mayor, but I'm happy to answer anyone's question, of course.
Still a green strip behind the parking. Is your entire site?
No, it is not.
So there is a green strip.
We're fencing Kaylee's backyard as requested, and we're leaving it open so she can visit the area. By the way, also the parking is at least 250 feet, possibly 300 feet away from the property line. So it's my understanding the area you would like to visit is definitely well before those parking stalls. You're welcome.
Ma'am, sir, in front of Kaylee, anything? Okay, I'll go to the commission. Christine,
I have nothing.
Steve?
Question on the stalls and what direction that is. The new stalls that are moved, is that south along the property line?
It's along the west property line.
West side?
And just 5 feet on the other side of the property line is the tractor trailer parking for Reinhardt Foods, or what used to be Reinhardt Foods. Maybe they changed their name.
I guess the question I got is those people that are going to be parking there, how are they getting to the building? I don't
Sure.
see any sidewalks or anything. Are they going to be walking in the drive lane with the trucks coming, or are you gonna expand some sidewalk, or just,
As mentioned, the driveways were made wider. Yes, there's actually more room than you would need to drive if there would be 3 tractor trailers going up and down that road. It's much wider than normal.
that's where the pedestrians are gonna be walking?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, to me, that's kind of an unsafe thing, to have these people walking in a drive lane. I would somehow try to get a sidewalk to them, in my opinion.
We-
It just doesn't seem like that's a safe scenario to me. I know, is there a way to add sidewalk around the corner to have a crossing to get them out into the grass area on a sidewalk?
I can, well, it is my very strong belief that there will be 0 cars ever parking here based upon the employee loads. As we mentioned, that half of the building will have 15 employees in it per shift. 3 shifts on the east side, the freeway side, but 15 employees per shift.
Okay. All right, no further questions.
Thank you.
Greg?
So that was my question as well. Who's going to be parking there without knowing who the tenants are? Is it going to be customers? Is it going to be employees? And then how are they going to get into the building? If they're truly not going to be used, is there any option to just, I'm not saying eliminate all of them, but it sounds like you added some. Can we eliminate a few and maybe relocate some?
We added 2 from the prior requirement. My concern with it, every change is a meeting. And we can remove them, certainly, if that's what you would propose to do. But if there was any concern with getting people in safely, the state of Wisconsin requested that the exit doors on the west side of the property, or west side of the building, I should say, have a sidewalk run between them. I would just run a small bridge over the culvert, a pedestrian bridge, to get people over to that sidewalk if they were being used on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how below the requirement that would take them. If it's truly not going to be used, I don't see the point of putting them in. Especially with the concern over safety for whoever's parking there.
From the initial, this was below, I think it was actually over 200 that were required.
Oh,
And so like the 174 or 170, that is already less than what would be required per the square footage of the building. And that was kind of an adjustment allowed previously.
sure.
Would you by chance like to write in that if those parking stalls are being used on any sort of regular basis, that I'll install the little path bridge, get a permit for it, and install the little bridge over the culvert to the sidewalk? I'd be happy to do it. I don't think that it will be used. If it is, I want the people safe.
And that's, I mean, obviously don't want you to put in unused parking spaces if they're truly not needed, but you never know if there's turnover in the building and they're going to be needed at a later date. Parking's always an issue with developments and things around the city, so I don't want to just say eliminate them all and get rid of them and then we run into trouble. But it is a concern. So I mean, if that is a possibility, I don't know that we can just add stipulation.
I mean, with striping, and then if they place the sidewalk between the drive and the building, is
Can I
that
just add something here? The sidewalk can be added via striping. You just have to add signs saying this is a pedestrian crossing. So you don't have to build actually the concrete sidewalk. You can just stripe it in between the crossings. You just have to add signs saying pedestrian crossing here.
It's an easy solution. Just put in a
Yes.
crosswalk and a pedestrian crossing sign.
Thank you. Great idea.
That was my concern.
Thank you, Greg. Chris?
My questions were asked.
Fred?
I have a question about the wetlands that you're replacing. or have to replace because of the location of the building, where is that replacement going?
With the initial plan going all the way back, we would have taken more wetlands. That dark area in the middle to the south, because we're not taking that, in fact, we're taking under 10,000 square feet. No wetlands needed to be replaced because, once again, we're taking such a small quantity.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, just about everything was addressed, and I think that's an easy solution. Depending on the employee count and what's going on in the buildings, I do agree it was a code thing to require the parking. I'm impressed, so boy, a lot of foliage. So, yeah, I guess I felt a lot of relief when you told me there's still 250 feet of property line that will remain.
That's correct.
It's a sensitive area for some, and to visit and everything. Just please keep in mind, it's private property. So have to be conscious of others' rights as well. That includes rhino. Okay, there's no further discussion or questions? Oh, and just, I know it's in the code, cutoffs on the lights. I'm sure Mario will keep you to task on that.
Thank you.
All right, motion.
Clark moves to approve the amended site and architectural plan for a proposed multi-tenant speculative industrial building to be located at 10000 South Ridgeview Drive with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that the plans are revised to include locations for all mechanicals, transformers, and utilities. All mechanical equipment, transformers, and utility boxes, ground, building, and rooftop shall be screened from view. 3, that all stormwater requirements are coordinated with the engineering department. Any additional reviews and or permits that may be required as a result of stormwater improvements shall be obtained prior to issuance of any permits and commencement of work. 4, that all revised plans are submitted electronically to the Community Development Department prior to submitting of any permit applications. And 5, that this approval by Plan Commission shall expire within 12 months after the date of approval if a building permit has not been issued.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call, beginning with Greg.
Clark, aye.
David, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Hannah, I.
Ouch, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 6, review a request for a temporary use permit for an outdoor activity operations at Melrose Restaurant. This is an existing business location at 6840 South 27th Street. Nick, I knew you were here for a reason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant is seeking a temporary use permit to allow for a long-term temporary outdoor operation of a patio located in the parking lot at Melrose Restaurant and Haraz Coffee House. It is going to last from September 10th through December 31st, 2025, and the proposed hours of operation are from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. daily. The proposed patio would have 4 heated plastic domes, each accommodating up to 6 people. And that would be on top of a temporary deck board flooring system with a 3-foot perimeter fence around 3 edges of the patio. And then there would be a temporary barricade for traffic on the eastern and western edges. And then lastly, the restroom and parking accommodations both remain code compliant with the proposal. I believe that the applicant is here to answer your questions, and there's a suggested motion before you. Thank you.
Okay, before we go to the commission, would the applicant want to wait on questions, or you want to make a statement? Okay, thank you, sir. Start it up. Who wants to start? Steve, how about you?
No questions.
Greg?
I might have a question. Is there anything regarding what the material for the traffic control barriers are? Just so they're not just cheap fencing. I mean, you see these in places, and I think it's a great idea. I love going to them. I just know that when we do go to them and they're in or near traffic, there's concrete planters or heavy duty things to ensure that vehicles aren't getting in
Yeah, it looks like the proposed is plastic barriers.
there. Okay. That may need to be beefed up a little bit, just to make, you can come up and,
Sir, we'll need your name and address.
Hello, Mahmoud Jassar, 3570 West Cold Springs Road in Greenfield. Originally, we were thinking about something heavier like concrete, but because this is a isolated parking lot, and you can see there's no way for someone to enter like with a high speed, like unless you're in the parking lot. So really, it's more visual than like to stop a heavy, fast vehicle coming in.
I don't know what we're allowed to require, but to your point, I've been to enough restaurants where a brick wall has been run into by somebody in a parking space that couldn't figure out the accelerator and the brake, and it's an accident. I'm not saying somebody will drive on purpose, but with people out in these basically plastic domes, I think protection needs to be put in place to make sure that there's no way, even accidentally, a car can start traveling through there. Another question, I guess, the FAR parking lot to the south of that loops around also, though, correct? Like, this isn't cutting off traffic from the back of the building to leave.
Yeah, they can loop around.
Okay. So, I think it's a great idea. I love going to them. I think it's a welcome addition to Oak Creek. I just think that we need to require something a little more stronger than that, even though it's in a.
So I'll just add one more thing. So the actual seating areas, like in the tents, will be within like the contained area with landscaping and stuff, not in like the car paths. And it's also elevated. So if you want to drive, like sometimes I want to go there, I miss it, and I go through Menards to go in, just because it's a small entrance to go in and it's uphill. So I know you want it more safe. We can maybe drill those in to make them like tighter.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not trying to jump the cost by requiring concrete, but something a little more than just a plastic traffic barricade.
And if there's any recommendations on something that's more secure.
As they do the road work, they're, at least in my world, they're called Jersey barriers. You see them big concrete things. They come in about 6-foot sections. They come and they drop them down, bing, bang, boom, and they're made of concrete. You can actually lease them.
He doesn't mind, but there's also the one that you can fill with water and empty, so they act.
True.
They can take a hit.
True. Either way, and I mean, really want to get into it. Stuff we bought for Drexel Town Square will stop a car in its tracks. It'll lift up, but it's super expensive. But the Jersey barriers to rent, I think, are rather reasonable, cheap alternative. And it's probably about 24 feet wide. These things are 6. You'd rent 12 of them for the time period you'd need. They come, pick them up, drop them down, take them out. Because it's not my turn.
I was done. That was all I had concern.
But safety is a concern, not only for your patrons, but your employees as well that are coming across. And as Greg said, if someone's playing with their phone, they ain't paying attention. And a vehicle can do a lot of damage very quickly, as we've seen, unfortunately, in a lot of areas. But you still got the floor, Greg.
That was it. And I mean, you do have a lot of customers there during the day. I know it's not ideal for you, but people from Menards come through there, and they're used to doing that, and this is going to be a change if they cut in there and see this. So, the more protection you have, the better. But again, it's a great idea, and I hope that it comes to fruition.
That's fine. Will we have any issue if when we're not using them, to leave them on site somewhere, or do we have to?
You mean the concrete things?
Blocks, like if we put them on the back?
I guess it depends if you own them or rent them. Typically wouldn't have storage of that capacity, but I would defer that over to Todd. But anyways.
Yeah, like somewhere in the parking lot. Not a big issue. Okay. Yeah. We'll work with Todd. Yeah.
Chris?
I agree with your comments that we should beef up that parking somewhat.
Fred?
Yeah, I agree with the traffic pattern and so forth. I'm a little concerned about people going from the restaurant to these pods because somebody's going to have to deliver things and they're very vulnerable to traffic flow. Now, how do these pods actually work? I mean, are they heated? Must have electricity get to them. Are you going underground with that?
They're going to be pinned down and secured. They have like built-in stuff. Radiant heating according to the code. So obviously no fire inside or.
So they're not laying right on top of the road, the cables coming into them?
For electrical stuff, we will have an electrical permit. I know we didn't submit it yet. It was an option to do it before this hearing, but we can do it after. Like if this is approved, we'll have a full electrical permit to
Doesn't
secure.
require building permits for these separate 4 structures, so they'll have to, I mean, it'll be contingent on them getting, they have to get building permits for these.
How does the fire department look at these pods? Do they have any questions or concern?
They did not have any concerns when we brought it up in our meeting with them. And obviously, as they go through the electrical permitting process, Mario will address those concerns with them.
Thank you.
Christine?
Yes, I have actually a couple questions. Why is those pods so far away from the building?
I mean, it's just because, the location is better. We can if we put them closer, they'll be right on the.
Yeah.
But having them contained where the cars used to park it's not too far from the building.
Yeah, from how I see here from the exhibit, it's how many feet is between those pods and the building?
Roughly 25 feet from what I looked.
How
Mine
much?
is a bit small.
25 feet.
So do you want the waitress to walk 25 feet to deliver the food and come back and forth and back and forth and?
I mean, even inside the restaurant, sometimes they walk more. Like some tables inside the restaurants are farther from the kitchen than these outside. Even the bathrooms are actually closer to the outdoor seating than some normal tables in the restaurant because the side door is right there, straight to the amenities, and the kitchen is right there from this side. So it's
Okay, so that's gonna bring me to what Craig started. Not just from the side or where those trees are at. You see the Target here in Oak Creek? They have those big red balls. Those are concrete balls.
so bollards.
Yes. So those two kind of something you can do aesthetically around the building. Put those big.
That could answer some of the previous stuff if we put bollards that could
Yes.
be detached and reattached.
This is actually could be poured in.
That could solve. That's actually a good idea. That could solve both
Actually,
issues.
it's at the high school too. The high school, to prevent something like this from someone going through the students, they put them there.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Why don't
Even
you do that?
I've seen this in travels too, where they put concrete bollards and they literally have a hole in the concrete and they drop them down and then put plates.
Yeah. I could leave them season around. You can decorate them. You can do whatever you want.
I like that more than the concrete.
Yeah.
Much more decorative.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, all the questions have been asked. And I stuck my nose in it anyways. It's really about safety. Again, we'd like to think everybody's safe and I do appreciate you tucking them in there. I'm sure the 10 spaces that are going away doesn't affect the property at all. And then, you just have to address electrically, as Fred brought up, how you're going to do that in the next phase. But otherwise, upon approval of, I guess in the conditions, bollards. Wordsmith me something, some stronger safety protection. Even if they're
I guess one follow-up question. I know the hours have changed a little bit there, since the coffee business went in. But these will operate, oh, it says right there. These will be operated in the evening?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. I have no concern, I just,
and because it is going late into the evening, it really doesn't affect you because you're in a B4 business district, correct? Be mindful of neighbors. I know you don't have any, but it's a general statement. Other businesses in the area have operated later at night, and just crowds tend to congregate and things like that. And, so be respectful of the neighbors and local ordinances as well. That's it. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing none, motion.
Clerk moves to approve a request for temporary use permit for outdoor activity operations at Melrose Restaurant, an existing business located at 6840 South 27th Street with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that all outdoor activities operations shall be located within the portion of the parking lot per the approved map. 3, that operations shall only occur between 7 a.m. and 12 a.m. daily. 4, that all building and electrical permits are obtained prior to operation. And 5, that the temporary use permit shall be valid between September 10th, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. The property shall be restored to its pre-temporary use condition by no later than January 2nd, 2026.
Guzekowski, a second?
You're gonna add?
Sorry about that.
Do we need a
Safety,
6?
bollards.
And 6, that safety
Adding safety
bollards
measures.
or other traffic mitigation items
Traffic mitigation measures.
acceptable to staff is installed.
If they do go with the bollards, would those bollards be under those restrictions to get removed by January 2nd? Because that would be,
They put plates.
Why?
This is just for temporary use, so once the period's over, they have to restore the site to its previous condition, because they're doing this is a temporary dining outdoor
Are they gonna
dining.
do it the next year?
That is to be determined.
But
They
if
would have
they-
to come back for another permit.
What I'm saying is, if they spend the money to put them there permanent, why would they put it back and forth?
Well, if for this to be if this were a permanent thing, which would mean it's continuous throughout the year, then we would be in here for a site plan architectural review,
Oh, okay.
right? But
Yeah.
since their intent and how they voiced it to me and Nick is that they intend to remove it, right? So it's not there for a period of time, month, 2, I don't know how many, and then it's back again. So similar to how the greenhouse happens at the bowling alley or the others within the city, it's a temporary period. So also opportunity, I suppose, if we find something wasn't working, they come back and.
yeah, I think you just need to take it into consideration what kind of bollards you do use, because I know those balls that were talked about are not
Oh, they're
easily
concrete
installed or
boards.
moved, so those might not be such a good option if you do have to move them.
Definitely not the balls. Those are like Target thing, but
Yeah,
we'll
like
get
see-
something
Yeah.
that
Like a
looks-
bollard
Something
that
that's
goes into a
movable.
hole, and then right, like you have a hole and the bollard goes in, then you take out and just
take
They
it
put
out.
a plates or something in.
Yeah, we've seen those.
It's definitely something removable.
Mm-hmm.
What
And it's
holds
there
it?
for the next time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think you said that, or your architect said that these things really can't handle heavy snow load potentially, or the weather might damage them to not keep them out
Not,
year wide, or
not
was that an
necessarily.
incorrect
The
statement?
manufacturer says they could handle, but
I would not.
we'll see next year how it goes.
We've sat in many of them in locations, Tosa, downtown, and when it's snowing, and
There's one in 27, but I think it's in the Milwaukee, not Oak Creek.
Some of them I know have like
They're
wood
Edgerton.
also, but I think these are literally plastic with.
I mean, ours look even more sturdier than the one on 27 and Edgerton. I think they have like two in the door. When you drive, like they're always there, like year round. So we'll see how it goes when we.
And for temporary use, I would look into the Jersey barriers if you're just going the first time, because you could leave a 2-foot opening in between. You could probably get away with 3 or 4 across there. Be done, and then they pick them up and take them away. And if it works, then you come up with site and architectural plans. But we do have a motion on the floor. I don't believe we had a second.
I started.
Second, Chris seconds. Okay. We'll finish up the vote and I'll be quiet. Chris, we'll begin with you.
Guzekowski.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Lorick, aye.
Kavich, aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Please continue to consult with staff, though. Very important. Just before adjournment, just a couple announcements. We're getting down to the last 2 months of the farmer's market. Farmer's market will take place at Drexeltown Square, 9 a.m. to 1. Then, 2 hours right after the market, our annual cafe event, Culture, Art, Food, Entertainment, with multiple ethnic groups will be there with samples of their culture, their art, their food, and of course their entertainment. That will run from 3 to 5:30, and it's followed up by our very first international night market bazaar, where you can buy handmade goods from different ethnic vendors. So if you got a chance, you and your family come out and join us at Drexeltown Square this Saturday. Lots going on. If there's no other business, motion to adjourn.
Seifert moves to adjourn the meeting at 6:55.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call, beginning with Fred.
Seifert, aye.
And I.
Vouch aye.
Lorick, aye.
Kavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.